Welcome back to English Nest Podcast, everyone. Today we're talking about something really useful: apartment hunting in English.
Yes, this is such a practical topic. If you're moving to a new country or just a new city, you need these phrases.
Exactly. So today, we're going to imagine a real conversation with a landlord. We'll learn how to ask about rent, ask to see the apartment, and more.
Right, so let's start simple. Imagine you see an apartment online. What's the first thing you say when you call the landlord?
You could say, "Hi, I'm calling about the apartment on Main Street. Is it still available?"
Oh, that's a great one. Is it still available is super important because sometimes apartments get rented very fast.
That's true. And before we go further, quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode.
Yes, we post new slow English conversations regularly, and it really helps you build your listening skills over time.
Okay, back to our apartment. So the landlord says, "Yes, it's still available. Would you like to come see it?"
And now you say, "Yes, please. Can I see the apartment this weekend?"
"Can I see the apartment?" is such a useful phrase. You can also say, "Can I come take a look?" It means the same thing.
Right, both are natural. Now, before you even visit, you probably want to know the price. So, what do you ask?
Simple. How much is the rent? That's the most direct way to ask.
And the landlord might answer, "It's $800 a month." Easy, right?
Yeah, but here's something tricky. Sometimes the rent includes things, and sometimes it doesn't. So you need one more question.
Right. You ask, "What's included in the rent?" This helps you understand if water, electricity, or internet are already paid for.
Exactly. And the landlord might say, "Water and heating are included, but you pay electricity separately."
That's really good to know before you agree to anything. Nobody wants a surprise bill.
Ha, so true. Okay, let's talk about the apartment itself now. What if you want to know about the furniture?
You ask, "Is it furnished?" That means, does it already have a bed, a table, chairs, things like that?
Right. And if it's not furnished, you might need to buy everything yourself. So this question really matters.
It does. And the landlord could answer, "Yes, it's fully furnished," or "No, it's unfurnished, but there's a kitchen and a wardrobe."
Good example. Now, let's imagine you're actually visiting the apartment. What are some things you might ask while you're looking around?
Oh, good question. You could ask, "How many bedrooms are there?" Or, "How many rooms does it have?"
Yes, and don't forget the bathroom. You can ask, "Is there one bathroom or two?" Sounds simple, but it's important.
Very important, especially if you're living with roommates. Trust me, I know from experience.
I bet. Okay, what about location? That's huge when choosing an apartment.
Definitely. You can ask, "Is it close to public transport?" Or, "Is there a bus stop nearby?"
And if you have a car, you might ask, "Is there parking available?" That's another common question.
Right. Now let's talk about something a little more serious: money and contracts. Because renting isn't just about the apartment itself.
True. So, one big question is a deposit required? A deposit is money you pay before you move in, just in case something gets damaged.
Oh, yes, deposits are so common. Usually it's 1 month's rent, sometimes two. Always ask this early.
Good advice. And you should also ask, "Do I need to sign a contract?" Because in many places, That's required by law.
Right, and the landlord might say, yes, we'll sign a 1-year lease. A lease is just another word for a rental contract.
That's a great word to know. Lease. You'll hear it a lot when renting in English-speaking countries.
Now, here's a question I always forget to ask, but it's really important. Are pets allowed?
Oh, so important. If you have a dog or a cat, you really need to check this before falling in love with an apartment.
Ha, exactly. Some landlords say, sorry, no pets allowed. And others say, small pets are fine. It really depends.
Good point. Okay, what about timing? Let's say you love the apartment and you're ready to move forward.
Then you ask, when can I move in? This tells you the earliest possible date you can start living there.
And the landlord might say, you can move in next week, or the apartment will be ready at the end of the month.
Perfect. And if you need a little more time, you can say, is it possible to move in a bit later?
That's a polite way to ask for flexibility. Landlords usually appreciate when you communicate clearly like that.
Absolutely. Now, let's slow down for a second and imagine the whole phone call together, from start to finish.
Good idea. So it starts with, "Hi, I'm calling about the apartment on Main Street. Is it still available?"
Then the landlord answers, and you follow up with, how much is the rent and what's included?
After that, you ask about the apartment itself. Is it furnished? How many bedrooms are there?
And finally, you finish with the practical questions. Is a deposit required? Are pets allowed? When can I move in?
See, when you put it all together, it's really just a natural, simple conversation. Nothing scary about it at all.
Not scary at all, just a little practice. And once you know these phrases, you'll feel so much more confident calling a real landlord.
Now let's talk about something people often forget: the lease agreement. This is basically the contract you sign with the landlord.
Right, and you might ask, how long is the lease? That just means how many months or years do you have to stay there?
Exactly. A typical answer might be, the lease is for 1 year. But some places also offer shorter 6-month leases.
Good to know. And if you ever need to leave early, you could ask, what's the notice period? That's how much warning you need to give before moving out.
That's such an important one, honestly. Nobody wants a surprise fee for leaving too soon.
True. Landlords usually say something like, you need to give 30 days notice. So remember that phrase. It comes up a lot.
Now let's talk about bills for a moment. You can simply ask, are utilities included? That means things like water, electricity, and gas.
And sometimes the landlord will say, no, utilities are separate. You pay them yourself every month. That's really useful to know before you agree to anything.
Yes, because rent can look cheap at first, but then the bills add up quickly. Always ask about this early.
Great tip. Another good question is Wi-Fi included? Some apartments already have internet set up, especially shared housing.
Oh, that's a good one for anyone working from home, like us. We really can't live without Wi-Fi.
Absolutely. No Wi-Fi, no podcast episodes. Now let's think about paperwork, because landlords often ask for documents too.
Right, they might say, "Can I see proof of income?" That means they want to know you're able to pay the rent every month.
Or they could ask, do you have references? A reference is someone who can vouch for you, like a past landlord or an employer.
That's very common. You could simply answer, "Yes, I can give you my previous landlord's number."
Good phrase. Now here's a fun one, asking about the building itself. You could ask, is there an elevator? especially for a high floor.
Yes, please. Nobody wants to carry heavy boxes up 5 flights of stairs.
Definitely not. Or you might simply ask, what floor is the apartment on? Short, simple, and very useful.
And don't forget about your car. You can ask, is there parking available? Especially if you drive to work.
Good one. The landlord might answer, yes, there's one parking space included. Or maybe, parking costs a little extra.
Now, here's something new learners often forget about asking about noise and comfort. You could say, how's the neighborhood?
That's smart. You want to know if it's peaceful before you sign anything. Nobody wants noisy neighbors at 3 in the morning.
Exactly. And you could also ask, are there shops and restaurants nearby? Just to imagine your daily life there.
True, that really helps. And one more useful question. Who do I call if something breaks? Because things do break sometimes.
Oh, that's such a practical one. The landlord might say, just call me or send me a message anytime.
Good to know. And if you're moving with a friend, you could also ask, can I have a roommate? Some landlords have rules about that.
Yes. And the answer might simply be, yes, that's fine. Just tell me their name for the contract.
Now let's practice a mini phone call, shall we? A fresh example, using some of these new phrases.
Sure, let's do it. Imagine you're calling about an apartment you just saw online this morning.
Okay, here we go. Hi, I saw your listing online. Could I schedule a viewing this week?
That's such a natural way to start a call. It shows you're interested and ready to move forward right away.
And if the landlord asks about you, you could say, I'm a quiet tenant and I work nearby. Just a short, simple introduction.
Nice and polite. And near the end of the call, you might ask, do I need to sign anything today? Just to clarify the next step.
Good question. The landlord might say, no, just come see it first. Then we can talk about the lease.
That's reassuring, isn't it? Nobody wants to feel pressured into signing something too fast.
Exactly. And if everything goes well, you can simply say, great, I'll see you then. Thank you so much for your time.
That's such a warm and polite way to end a call. It really leaves a good impression on the landlord.
It really does. Now, let's talk about something a bit different. What if the apartment just isn't right for you?
Oh, good point. You can politely say, I'll think about it and let you know. That's a nice way to leave without committing.
Or you could say, it's lovely, but it's a bit out of my budget. Honest, but still very polite.
Yes, landlords really do appreciate honesty. It saves everyone time and awkward messages later.
Definitely. And if you do love the place, you can simply say, I'd like to take it. What's the next step?
That's the magic phrase, isn't it? Just 4 little words. I'd like to take it.
It really is. Simple, clear, and confident. Exactly what you want to sound like on the phone.
All right, we've covered so many useful phrases today. Leases, utilities, references, and even how to end a call politely.
Yeah, apartment hunting really does have its own little vocabulary, doesn't it? But once you know it, it's really not so hard.
Not at all. It's just about practice. And maybe just a little courage to make that first phone call.
And the more you practice these phrases out loud, the more natural they'll feel when you actually need them.
So true. Even just saying them once with us today is a great first step toward feeling ready.
So, let's imagine you're actually inside the apartment now, walking around with the landlord. There are a few more questions that are really useful at this point.
Oh, yes, like practical, everyday things. For example, if the building has more than one floor, you might ask, Is there an elevator in the building?
That's a good one, especially if you have heavy suitcases or you just really don't want to climb 5 flights of stairs every day.
Exactly. And connected to that, you could also ask, what floor is it on? That helps you picture the whole building.
Right. So the landlord might say, it's on the 3rd floor, and yes, there's an elevator. Simple, clear answer.
And once you're inside, it's totally normal to ask about little things too. Like, is there a balcony? Or is there a washing machine?
Those small details really matter in daily life. You don't want to discover later that there's nowhere to hang your laundry.
Oh, so true. Okay, now let's talk about something a little more serious. What happens when something breaks in the apartment?
Good point. That's when you'd ask, who do I contact for repairs? It's a really important question before you sign anything.
I love that phrase. It shows you're thinking ahead, like a responsible tenant.
And the landlord might answer something like, you can call me directly, or there's a building manager who handles repairs.
That's really helpful to know, because imagine your heater breaks in winter and you have no idea who to call. That would be stressful.
Definitely stressful. Okay, next one. This is a phrase I personally love because it protects you.
Oh, tell me.
It's, can I get that in writing? You use this when the landlord promises something verbally, like fixing a light or including furniture.
Oh, that's such a smart phrase. Spoken promises are nice, but written promises actually protect you later.
Exactly. So you might say, you mentioned the sofa stays. Could I get that in writing, please? Polite, but clear.
I really like how polite it sounds, even though you're basically asking for proof.
Right. It doesn't sound rude at all. It just sounds careful, and landlords usually respect that.
Now, here's a question that surprises a lot of learners. In some countries, especially for students or people renting for the first time, landlords might ask for a guarantor.
Right. So you could ask, is there a guarantor required? A guarantor is usually someone, like a parent, who agrees to pay if you can't.
Oh, that's really useful to know beforehand, so you're not surprised later.
Exactly. Better to ask early than to be surprised at the last moment, right before signing.
Okay, now let's talk about something a little bolder. Can you actually talk about the price?
Oh, absolutely. In many places you can. You might say, can we negotiate the rent a little? It's a polite way to ask for a small discount.
I love that phrase. It sounds friendly, not pushy at all.
Exactly. You could add a reason too, like, could we negotiate the rent a little since I'd like to sign a longer lease?
Oh, that's clever. You're offering something in exchange, a longer lease for a lower price.
Exactly. It's a small negotiation, but very natural in everyday English conversations.
Now, what if you want a roommate to live with you? Is there a natural way to ask that?
Sure, you could simply ask, would it be okay if a friend moved in with me? Direct, but still polite.
That's good, because some contracts only allow a certain number of people.
Right, and landlords really appreciate you asking beforehand, rather than just surprising them later.
Oh, definitely. Surprises are not great with landlords. Okay, one more important one. What about insurance?
Good one. You might ask, do I need renter's insurance? In some countries, it's required. In others, it's optional.
And the landlord might say, yes, it's required, or no, but I recommend it. Either way, now you know to ask.
Exactly. Small questions like this really help you avoid problems later.
Okay, and finally, before you leave the viewing, it's smart to ask, could I get a copy of the contract to look over?
Oh, that's such a good closing phrase. It shows you're careful and it gives you time to think without any pressure.
Exactly. No need to rush a big decision like this on the spot.
All right, that was a lot of new phrases. I think our listeners are officially ready to rent an apartment now.
I think so too. Let's do a quick recap of everything we learned today, just to make it stick.
So, when you're inside the apartment, you can ask, is there an elevator in the building? And what floor is it on?
If something breaks later, remember to ask, who do I contact for repairs? And if the landlord promises something, say, can I get that in writing?
For students or first-time renters, it's smart to ask, is there a guarantor required? And if you want a small discount, try, can we negotiate the rent a little?
And finally, before you leave, don't forget, could I get a copy of the contract to look over? Such a smart, careful way to finish the conversation.
Such useful phrases all in one conversation. I feel like we could actually go rent an apartment together now, Emma.
Maybe one day. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode here at English Nest Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening with us today. If this episode helped you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel.
And try saying a few of these phrases out loud right now, just for practice. Your future landlord will be impressed.
We'll see you in the next episode right here in our cozy little nest. Take care, everyone.
Bye for now, and happy apartment hunting!